Michael, there are many things you can attribute to Rishabh Pant's success. Of course, the ability to hit that one-handed shot, which was really imperious. Once again, he did it. A ball that turned a little bit and yet found its way into the stands. But really, coming to the fitness of Rishabh Pant and the weight that he's lost, I think that would be a real key component of Rishabh Pant's turnaround, in a sense, the loss of weight.
Sorry, Gautam, I missed you there. I think I had a few technical issues.
Yeah, fine. We'll come back to you, Michael. Joy, quickly, you can pick that up.
Rishabh, he was talking. Michael, he was talking about Rishabh's, the kind of fitness that he's showing now, that one-handed shot, and that's something I also, they were describing it there, that it's actually he's allowing his arm to get free so the shot doesn't get pulled back. Michael, you've scored many more runs than most people in this commentary box ever have. So why do you think he takes that hand off? How does it help him sort of loft that shot, Rishabh?
I'll be honest with you. I didn't score too many white ball runs, so we're all in the same category and we're talking about white ball cricket. He's just a freak. He just does things his way. I wouldn't recommend that many try and play like Rishabh Pant because he's so unique. The one thing I would say to younger players watching Rishabh Pant is just his mindset. He looks so relaxed. When he goes out and the pressure was on, he just looks like he's just playing in the park. He's not playing for India. He's just playing a game of cricket that he's played for many years, whether he's playing for the under-11s, the under-15s, under-19s, now the national team. It's just a game of cricket to him. And that's such a refreshing attitude. And it's very difficult to have that attitude. But, that's the only kind of copying system that I would ask and say to younger players following Rishabh Pant. It's difficult to copy his technique, but you certainly can copy his mindset and have a real refreshing approach. He just looks like he's enjoying batting. He just looks like he's having a bit of fun. He backs himself. He's confident, obviously. And this unique technique is so difficult to bowl to. And when he starts flicking it and not moving his feet again, he generally goes against everything that coaching tells you to do. He does the opposite, but it works. He's brilliant.
Well, that's the one-handed shot. That's the chatter behind the stumps, the character that he is. But let me ask a serious question. Is Rishabh Pant the biggest gain to Indian cricket in modern times? Because when he came in, you were not sure which format will he fit in, which format won't he fit in? Is he a bit overweight? Answer was yes. He's become leaner, he's become trimmer, and he's contributing. And of course, it's not just a chatter behind the stumps, Michael. He has definitely improved his keeping as well.
Yeah, his box office. I can only tell you from here in the UK that I've got a 15-year-old boy, and he watches all the cricket, but he then nips off to do things on his, whatever they've got, the PlayStations, and has to do a bit of schoolwork. He might go into the garden, have a game of cricket, a game of football. He might, FaceTime his mates for a chat. As soon as Rishabh Pant goes out to bat, he's in that room. He is running through the garden, wherever he is, he's shouting, Rishabh's in, and he just sits and watches Rishabh Pant bat. That's the effect that a player like Rishabh Pant can have on the next generation, because they all love the way that he bats, and things are going to happen, and he's making it look very, very easy. Without question, Gav, he is, he's been around for a while. It's not just that he's just arrived. He's been around the international scene for 2 or 3 years, and we've all seen his talent. We've all seen what he could become. He's now becoming very consistent. So without question, over the 3 formats, India have a match winner.
And the box office, very importantly, Joy, is not just a 2-minute YouTube feature. It's a proper feature film now when Rishabh Pant comes out.
Absolutely. Test centuries in England, test centuries in Australia. What are we talking about? A guy who plays 3 formats for you. I'll tell you, there's a very interesting thing. One of the other things I was noticing was a shift in Indian cricket. So if you look at it, India traditionally, what does Dhoni do? In exactly the same circumstances, if Dhoni had walked in at 4, where Hardik Pandya had walked in, Hardik and Rishabh, they would have soaked in the pressure. They would have soaked in the pressure, taken 1s, 2s, and the last 5 to 10 overs would have tried to go for it. Not even the last 10. Knowing Dhoni, he would exasperate us towards the end and saying, okay, when is he going to go for it? And then finally, he'll start swinging, getting 12 or 15 the last 5 overs. That's what he used to do, and that used to win matches for India at a time when the totals used to be like that. So point of also is that Dhoni's method soaking in pressure and sort of playing for the long term and then leaving it all to the end to do works also better if you're chasing. It doesn't really work when you're trying to set a target, because over the last few years, it's also happened that a lot of targets that's been set by Dhoni have not been adequate because they've just taken too much time to get going. So I think Rishabh is exactly the opposite. He's of the kind that he will not allow the bowler to get on top. And if you see the partnerships, if you see what these two guys have done, that's exactly what they did. They didn't allow the bowling to dominate at that phase. Had they dominated that phase, I'm telling you, you're not looking at 328, you were looking under 300. It was definitely under 300. If those two guys had knocked it around for 10 overs before going, you wouldn't have got above 300. And therefore, 328 is still an extremely competitive score. It may not be enough, but at least the approach that they did got them here. It wouldn't have got close had we had to use the old approach.